More Canadians stranded in Gaza are desperate for details after the border closed again yesterday. For the latest on the efforts to get Canadians out of Gaza, we are joined live now by Canada's Minister of International Development, Ahmed Hussen. Minister, thank you for joining us. I believe you're in Egypt right now. Is that correct?
I was in Egypt yesterday and this morning, but I arrived in Paris, France for a humanitarian conference, an international humanitarian conference on Gaza.
Okay.
To help civilians, to get foreigners out, to free hostages. And we're having all those discussions at the moment. But yesterday I was in Egypt meeting some of the Canadians and their family members who have successfully gotten out of Gaza. And I also got to meet the Canadian team that is working nonstop to get more Canadians out of Gaza.
I want to talk about all that and more because there is a lot to get to. But let me get your thoughts on the breaking news this morning. The White House confirming that Israel has agreed to daily humanitarian pauses in Gaza. Your reaction?
That is great news. That is exactly what Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has been calling for, and our entire government. We've been calling consistently for humanitarian pauses to allow more humanitarian aid to go in, and foreign nationals, including Canadians, to be able to safely leave Gaza. This will certainly help get more much-needed water, food, and medicine and other protection and emergency supplies in, and protect humanitarian workers. And so it's great news, and we, of course, are looking forward to make sure that we are able to use these upcoming pauses to get more Canadians out.
There, as you know, there is a lot of uncertainty after the Rafa border crossing closed again yesterday. Families have been desperately waiting for more details, more answers. The U.S. State Department saying yesterday that this was due to an unspecified security threat. Are you able to elaborate and even provide an updated timeline on when Canadians can get out of Gaza again?
First of all, this is a conflict zone. It's a complicated environment, as well as dealing with a number of partners to make these evacuations possible. The first group, 94% of the target during that day got out, so that's success. And I saw for myself the heroic work of Team Canada, doing amazing work to really do everything that they can. We've been doing everything that we can to get each and every Canadian out of Gaza. It's a complicated situation, and it's an ever-evolving situation, but we're doing everything that we can. And if it was up to us, we would have gotten everyone out. But it's a work in progress, and we will just keep at it until each and every Canadian who wants to leave Gaza can leave Gaza safely.
Right. It is important to note, Global Affairs said 75 people with ties to Canada were able to safely evacuate on Tuesday. There's about 40 people who are on a list right now, but they can't get out because the border has closed again. Minister, we have interviewed families on this program who say it's embarrassing that it's taken the Canadian government more than a month to get Canadians stranded in that region out. We've also interviewed people on the ground who say they fear they may die before the border reopens again. And they feel as if the Canadian government has failed them. I want to give you a chance to respond to that.
What I will say is, of course, their concerns are real, and it's a very dangerous and difficult situation for everyone, including the civilians who are there, the Palestinian civilians who are caught in this. But make no mistake, we are doing everything that we can to get Canadians out. I met with the family members in Cairo who had to endure a harrowing journey to get to safety, and they told me how relieved and happy that they were able to make it into that first group. We're doing everything that we can, but we have to deal with a number of partners, and we have to, and when the border is closed, like you said, it is closed to all foreign nationals, not just Canadians. So we're doing everything that we can to get Canadians out, and I can assure people back home that they can rest assured that their government is doing everything that we can. And I've seen members of the Canadian Armed Forces, immigration officials, CBSA, public safety, immigration, consular officials. Everyone is doing heroic work back and forth between Rafa and Cairo, getting Canadians out. And the momentum is there. The first group got out, and we will not rest until each and every Canadian who wants to leave Gaza can leave so safely. And I believe that the breaking news about our humanitarian pause will certainly help in that effort, which is exactly the argument that we've been making about the importance of having these pauses, so that aid can get more aid can get in, and Canadians can get out of Gaza.
Okay. Are you getting any sense of when the border might reopen? I appreciate that it's an incredibly dynamic and fluid situation on the ground.
It is hard to say, because there's a number of parties that are involved in the negotiations, and so it's difficult to predict what happens
what then is your hope,
hour
Minister?
to hour, let alone. Our hope is that all Canadians come evacuate safely out of Gaza, and that is precisely what we're working on every single day. And I can tell you, having met the families, having met Team Canada in Cairo and around the region who are coming in to help, and from Ottawa, it's incredible the work of our heroic civil servants, what they're doing day and night to really get Canadians out. We've had some success and progress. We just have to build on that momentum and get each and every Canadian out of that conflict zone into safety.
So could it be days? Could it be weeks? Do you have any idea of what that timeline could look like?
What I can assure you is 100% effort. We will just continue at it and do what is working, which has worked so far to get the 75 Canadians and permanent residents and family members out. We just need to keep at it and to work with our partners to get as many Canadians as possible until each and every Canadian is safely out of that conflict zone.
Okay, Canada's Minister of International Development, Ahmed Hussen, I so appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us here on CP24.